Alright folks, I'm going to show you an alternative method for making the mallet head. Perhaps some of you will find this as an easier approach. Now what I have open here is my Word document that has the detailed instructions for creating the pegboard toy, including the mallet head and the mallet handle. I'm only going to show you the mallet head today. I showed you one method of how to create it the other day using the line tool and the arc tool. The method I'm going to use today is going to use the rectangle tool. It's going to use the circle tool. As with before, I'm going to constrain it with dimensions. But in 2D Sketch, I'm also going to use another tool called trim. So there's going to be fewer drawing elements, but there's going to be more tools used. It will have the same dimensions. So having a height of 3 inches and a width of 0.875, which is the decimal equivalent for 7/8 of an inch, will still be administered in this project. I may need to refer back to my Word document as I do this, so we'll see. I'm kind of winging this as I go through it. I'm using a new microphone, so I don't know how well the sound quality is going to be as with my other videos. I'm also doing this video at Edward Stone instead of Aldo, so kind of out of the box here on what I've established as my norms before. So I'm going to have Inventor open, just another project I'm working on here. I'm going to go New, I'm going to go Standard IPT, and I'm going to go Create. I'm going to click on the pencil. I'm going to click on the front plane, so I make sure up there it says front. I'm going to go to rectangle. I'm going to click on the center. And I want my width to be 0.875, which is 7/8 of an inch as a decimal. I'm going to hit Tab, and I'm going to type 3 for my height. Goes off the screen, so I'm going to click on front on my view cube. So here's the start of my profile. Now I'm going to go over to circle, and I'm going to click on my right vertical edge. I want my diameter to be 0.2. Now in the Word document, it talks about a radius of 0.1, but that's if we're using the arc tool. Since I'm using the circle tool, I have to denote the diameter. So I'm going to place a couple of circles that have a diameter of 0.2. Enter. There we go. It's being kind of slow. Now I'm going to go to Dimension. I'm going to click on the center of my circle and my top horizontal edge. And I want to constrain this dimension at 0.5. And I'm going to double check. I'm going to go back to my Word document. Yes, 0.5 was what we're using there. So I need to do the same thing down below. 0.5. All right. Now, we're going to use something new. It's up here in Modify. We're still in 2D Sketch mode. We know that we're in 2D Sketch mode because we see all of our drawing tools here. I'm going to go to Trim. It has a little scissors icon by it. And I'm going to trim out the features I don't need. So I don't need the outside of the circle, and I don't need the inside line going through the diameter. I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom. I don't need the outside, and I don't need the middle inside line. Now let's click on Front. And this should give me my profile. Now if you've done it in the other method, you'll see that maybe this looks easier. I hit my isometric view by clicking on the little house on the view cube. I'm going to go to Finish Sketch. And I'm going to go to that new feature that I showed you the other day, Revolve. We're doing profile axis, so I'm going to click on this left edge here, my left full vertical line, and it revolves it just like it did before when I used the line tool. So maybe for some of you, if you watched the other video and you're looking at this one, it looks a little bit easier. So let's finish this out. We're going to use chamfer. Our radius was 1/16, and we're using this to smooth out these 6 sharp edges. So I click on these 6 points. You'll see that it highlights to show that I can apply that chamfer. So there's the 6 applications of the chamfer there. I'm going to check it. Softens that up nicely. Now let's put our point in there. Now when you're putting the point, you do have to make sure that this model browser is open on the left. We're going to go to plane. We're going to select plane from there. Expand the origin and select YZ plane. Now hover over your mallet head. You get those drawing planes. We want the one closest to you. Shows up as that drawing plane, kind of a lot like what you see when you're doing 2D sketch. So now we can go to the pencil, and we're going to click on the edge of this drawing plane. Sets that up nicely. If I want to drag this to the center and make it more formal, now I can place my point right there in the middle. Nice and centered. We're ready to make that tapped hole. A tapped hole is a threaded hole that will allow us to thread in that mallet handle. So we'll go to Finish Sketch. We'll go to our hole feature. We want the depth to be what was it? 0.875. We want our diameter to be 0.625. So 0.875 being 7/8 of an inch, 0.625 being 5/8. We want to come over here and select a tapped hole. So that's going to make threads. You want to make sure it's 0.625. The designation is 5/8, and let's click OK. All right, we got that tapped hole. Let's go over here to our model browser and turn off that work plane. So right click, turn off visibility. Let's come over here and find our purple color, because that's what it shows up on our plans. I think it's in here somewhere if I look hard enough. Maybe maybe I used magenta. I don't know. No, I used purple, but we'll set this one as magenta since I set my last one as purple. If I wanted to be more formal, I would set it as purple. Come over here. We'll go Save As, and we'll call it Mallet Head. Make sure that you're saving in your shared folder on the H drive. Do I want to replace it? Yes. There we go. Hopefully this gave you another idea of how to create that mallet head. I think the second approach is more efficient than the first one. However, when you look at that Word document and how everything is constrained, it appears to be that Project Lead the Way is telling you to use the line tool and the arc tool. But here I've used rectangle and circle and trim, and I thought it was a bit easier. This is just kind of based upon my experience with working with this project. So hopefully you've had good luck until this point. So see you next time.